Zwom. Doot, 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 doot. BMO.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another BMO Creative crypto video. So this one is about the Flatwoods Monster. So here's the basic story that you've probably heard. September 12th, 1952, almost completely dark. Young residents of the town of Flatwoods, Edward and Freddie May, Neil Nunley, Tommy Heyer, were playing on the lawn of the elementary school, which was close to their house. They saw a bright light go over them and land or crash on G. Bailey Fisher's farm. They ran to see what it was, stopping on the way at their house and getting their mom, Kathleen May, who also knocked on the door of the neighbor, a National Guardsman named Eugene Lemon, and they got the family dog. When they went to see what was there was a red pulsing light, they said. So Lemon shined his big flashlight up the hill, and they were all terrified because this giant 10-foot tall creature making a lot of noise and looked like it was made of metal, and it had a spade shaped head, like the spades on the symbol of a deck of cards, the spade, with a metal dress on, like a long metal object from the waist down, and had lights on it, and it was coming down the hill towards them, making a loud hissing noise and giving off this strange gas that made them sick to their stomachs, and it was in the air, and it burned their eyes. And they said that this thing had glowing eyes, orange ones, and had clawed hands or something, little arms with clawed hands on it. And so they turned and ran, of course. The dog was the first one to go. And so Miss May and Mr. Lemon reported the incident as soon as they got back home. The creature did not follow them. Then the authorities went up there on that hill that very same night. The police went up there and they said they found nothing. They didn't smell anything weird. They didn't see anything weird. There was nothing up there. Some members of that group, the kids and the parent and the adults and the mom, suffered from throat irritation and vomiting and nausea, which lasted for days. These symptoms were passed off back then as just the effects of being hysterical. Because if you don't run for a long time and then you take off running as fast as you can for hundreds of yards, yeah, you can get sick to your stomach and you're screaming at the top of your lungs while you're doing this. I don't know. But those are also telltale signs of exposure to chemical attack, like mace or pepper spray or even mustard gas. So maybe this thing was giving off some kind of chemicals to make them run away from it. I don't know. Another sighting of the creature that happened prior to this one, but was only reported after, was made by Miss Audra Harper. And Harper claims to have seen the monster while walking through the woods to a nearby store that was in the town of Heaters. It's about 5 miles away from Flatwoods. They noticed a ball of fire on one of the hills, and she said that it was probably just some people fox chasing, so setting fire to the leaves in a guided way to make foxes run so that they could shoot them. I think that's odd that you would do that close to town, but maybe this rural area, maybe that's what they do. When she glanced back, though, because the light went out really quickly, the fire went out, she saw something that she described as unbelievable. The fire had vanished, and in its place stood a tall, dark silhouette of a man-shaped thing, she said. A figure. So she was terrified, and her friend ran and hid among rocks and boulders that were along this path. And then the thing just kind of drifted off, and they never saw it again. So the day after the first event, so this is on the one that happened on the 12th on the Fisher's farm. The day after that, so I guess on the 13th, a sighting was reported near Strange Creek, about 20 miles south of Flatwoods. That night, George and Edith Snowski were driving through a rural area between Clay and Braxton County at night on Route 4 when their car engine died. Mr. Snowski attempted to restart the car a couple of times, and he was about to get out of the car, and he popped the hood of the vehicle, and they smelled this foul-smelling sulfur smell, so he thought maybe his engine was burning up, but he didn't see any smoke. So he looks at his wife, says he doesn't see any smoke, and all of a sudden there's bright light in front of the car, so they turn and look, and there's this 10-foot tall creature hovering in front of their car, except the creature didn't have the spade-shaped head, which now they say is a hood because it had a reptilian bony face instead. But the rest of the description's very similar. The metal dress-like object at the bottom, the loud hissing noises and hovering, and the creature, they say, dragged its hand across the hood of the car, which I think is strange, and then just drifted off in the woods. And then Snowski was able to start the car, and they got out of there, and that was the last he saw of it. And he didn't say anything about this until 1955. In Mail magazine, July 55, he reported that he admits to seeing this thing, officially. So, these stories have become strange folk tales, creating an odd culture in the small towns around this county. There are several places around the towns offering photo ops with painted sculptures of this thing in red and gold and green, and people dress like it and stuff. A museum is even dedicated to it. It operates a couple of miles outside of Flatwoods in a place called Sutton. I found where there's 5 green giant benches that they call the giant monster chairs around the county, where people can sit down and take pictures in these chairs. Although the monster has not been seen since the original incidents in '52, its impact on the rural community remains. So what did they all see? So some people say that it was an owl. I did my homework, and I do know that based on the descriptions of the sounds it made and the size it was, and the health impact and the mechanical issues on the vehicle, for example, I think it may have been experimental military equipment that was being used for training at the National Guard or Army Reserve training facilities that are right there in that area. And these are pictures of what those vehicles may have looked like. There were all kinds, and they all worked, by the way. We have better ones now. But anyways, what do you think it was? Leave a comment below. Anyways, that is going to do it for this one. Here's a couple of examples of the better ones that we have today in the military. And even like some millionaires make their own, and you can see that down in the bottom right corner there. And they all work. They all work pretty good. Anyways, that's going to do it for this one. Please leave a like and subscribe to BMO Creative for more crypto videos. Thanks so much. Bye.